There's this guy named...
Yeah, and Maddie highlighted a lot of the writing.
I just that's what I was going to say, what Maddie said about the that Qunari character, where he didn't want to spoil what it was, but I saw other people spoil it. So spoiler, it's not really a spoiler, but you probably, if you're interested in this game, you probably know by now that the Qunari in your team it becomes non-binary and then goes by they them pronouns. And Maddie was just like, the way that they executed it was shitty, and then he used an example from Outer Worlds of the asexual character,
Bavardi,
and how well that was made. And I was like, yeah, because when I saw, because he didn't spoil it, but I saw other reviews spoil that part, and the way that they kind of shoved it in, I was like,
it's terrible.
Pounding that snake's nose, she's still holding the ruby in her other hand. Maker's panties, I was so proud.
Oh,
Ah, shit. They're still holding it, sorry.
What are you doing?
Pulling a barb.
Oh, okay.
a barb?
Tradition in the Lords of Fortune, from one of our old members, Barv. Good guy, but like most of us, his plans went sideways a lot. Bad blood among your crew's not good for morale, but there's not always time for big, drawn-out apologies. So, when one of us screws up and we know we've screwed up, we do a quick 10 to put it right. Pulling a Barv. Oh, there we go.
I'm glad the Lords of Fortune have Tarsh's back.
Oh, Tarsh isn't the first non-binary member of the Lords.
Really?
It was a little before your time, but Horlicks was one of ours.
Huh.
Bastard looked better than I did in a dress or pants. And out of them, too.
Any reason you can't just apologise?
Sometimes people say, oops, sorry, and hope that fixes it. But they just want to get the whole thing over with. Trust me, I know. But pulling a barv, you sweat a little. Makes you think about it a little more. Shows the other person you mean it.
What if they mean it when they say they're sorry, though?
And that's the other reason. Some people mess up and get all dramatic. They make it about them. Oh, you know, I didn't mean it right. I'd never do that on purpose. They feel so bad about it that it's on everyone else to smooth it over and make them feel better.
Oh, okay, yes, some people might do that.
Pulling a barv puts it on the person who screwed up. They made the mess, they fix it.
I saw the dialogue for it. I saw like screenshots of the dialogue, and I'm like, what the fuck is this?
You guys,
this sounds like it's in like San Francisco right now. This doesn't sound like Dragon Age at all.
Thank you. I was like, why did you do this? What did they think was gonna happen? Oh yeah, like, because it's like, of course, the culture war people have fed them bait, and then regular people are rolling their eyes because they understand the implication. We're like, oh great, cool. Like now these people are gonna be squawking like parrots, like they're gonna go crazy. Thanks for putting that in my fucking Bible,
dude. Well, it is literally one of those examples where I'm just like, this is actually unironically, like that aspect of it is actually woke trash.
Yes.
Like actually, like like holistically.
Yes.
Because it is just careless with like how an idea is being conveyed. No care to like how it should be expressed in the world that it's being taken into.
Yeah.
And I think one of the issues too, it's like, what do you call the toxic positivity stuff that we were talking about? Because I think Maddie specifically said this. I don't know if maybe Skill Up said it too. I'm not so sure. But he was talking about like how he picked a dialogue option where he wanted to be mean to someone, and it just wasn't. It was just like every interaction.
Both of them did it.
Yeah,
it
both
was
of them.
Literally both of them.
I didn't watch all of Skill Ups because his was longer. I watched all of Maddie's because I was so curious.
It was. They picked this. I thought it was funny that they picked the same scene
because
it was so egregious. It was so egregious that like you wanted to be like, "Who's this fool?" or whatever.
Yeah.
And then you pick that, and he just goes, "Who's this?" And you're like,
"Yeah, who's this?" Like inquisitively, like it's and so that leads to like a disconnect, and obviously
what makes this all so much worse, right? It's all so much worse, right?
Yeah.
What makes it even worse than all of the shit that we're talking about, right? Is a year ago, a game that me and Derek have raved and ranted about so many times came out with literally entirely the same spirit of the games they made before. Baldurs Gate 3 is the perfect evolution narratively of what Dragon Age 1 was.
Yeah.
It is that. It would not, it's like, oh, let's just take this idea and push it to the extreme.
Yeah.
And they do that. And then the people that own the game came back and just shat the bed. That's what makes it so painful to me. Is I wanted this game to be good so bad. I went home and I watched a 5-hour video about all of the lore again, so I can remember all of it. That game's lore is insane. The Dreadwolf as a character is insane. That motherfucker is wild. But all of that falls to the wayside because everyone looks so stupid. Everything is set. The point of Dragon Age and 2, right? There's several moments in like that of 2 and 1, right?
Yeah.
Where they're talking about the brevity of the problems. And when they're speaking, you can, even though it looks silly, they're furrowed brows. And like, it doesn't exactly, obviously it doesn't match up to exactly the words they're saying as they move their lips. But you can feel intensity in what they're saying. Like, yo, the world is about to end. Ferelden's in trouble. But in this game, it's like, things are going wrong. We got to figure it out. We got it. And it's like, what?
Some of the scenes are so mismatched.
There's no
I saw a couple of
emotion.
ones that it was fine. Like I saw that your Rook at one point, it was in the background, so I didn't know the context, but I saw like him making a very angry face, and I'm like, okay, that looked fine. But I saw some of the scenes that they pointed out. They're like, what the fuck's happening? And one thing that stood out to me in Inquisition a lot was, and I mean, this is a good scene. It's Cassandra and Varric.
Yes.
They get into a spat. She I think she flips over the table or something. They're about to throw down. Because Cassandra's been pissed off at Varric the entire time.
Varric sucks.
Yeah, well, technically, he's kind of selfish, but then also not like... Anyway, I don't want to get into it.
He's a layered character, yeah.
I don't want to get into it. Their dynamic is fucking phenomenal. And that scene, the anger on her face is so wet. Like, it's perfect. Her voice, it's so well synced that I'm like, there are moments in that game that I'm like, damn. Like, they just needed like another year to really just have this thing come together and be a much better game. Maybe take out some of the live service shit more that they didn't have. They were scrambling, but I'm hoping. I can't. It's one of those things where I'm still trying to have a little caveat of hope where I'm like, I hope that there's some stuff like that. But when I do look at these Gumby fucking Pixar, like I'm trying to get over it. I don't know if I can. I really don't know.
That's fair.
I want this game to be good so bad it's crazy. I want an RPG I can play that I can really sink my teeth into and really enjoy. And I know there's not going to be.
What do you think? So I was actually I was wrestling because I didn't pre-order it. I actually started to have second thoughts about even buying it. But I was thinking, okay, aesthetically, maybe I can just wait for some mods. Aesthetically, maybe I can wait. I know this.
That's a lot of mods.
It's a lot of mods.
I was going to get it on console.
It's probably 10 gigs worth of texture.
Yeah.
But the thing for me is that's not why I play Dragon Age, though.
I know.
That's the thing for me.
You're right. I don't either. Because, like, say, if you go back, I go back to Origins, and it looks like shit, technically. But it's still, like, the world doesn't look like shit. I'm just saying, like, it's an older game that I can still get into it, just like I played KOTOR, and it was fine. But, it's just one of those things where
KOTOR is a magic trip. It's like,
it looks.
I like the Jedi speed when I think about it.
The Jedi speed.
Yeah, I like that. I like that lightsaber doesn't scale with dex. It's fine. I'll just be a strength based character. Even though I was a rogue, I had these lightsabers, so I'm gonna be strength based. I just all these problems are here. I can just kind of get around them. It's like that.
I mean, why not?
But I don't know, man. I just think that.
So what is your what is your biggest gripe with what you've seen in the Veilguard?
The dialogue. The dialogue is my problem.
That one character, the Asian elf.
Yeah.
Sorry, my eye twitched naturally because unfortunately, everything that I've seen with her has irritated me. It's been unfortunately just the way that every time. I'm sure she's gonna have some serious dialogue at points and but she's clear. Even with the reveal trailer, the way that she bursted out of that the mirror thing, with all and then it was like. I think it was like the fucking impact. No, it was like almost like Comic Sans essentially. It was just like when it showed her name, and I was like, oh, she's the stupid comic relief. I was like, but you don't need that. Like they already have Manfred. The bones. Where I'm like, that's the comic relief. If you're gonna put it, first of all, Dragon Age has never had that before.
Comic relief.
Like the most of the comic relief was Alistair.
Yeah.
Because he was just a little snarky. But they didn't have like a character that was dedicated to being like this, oh, I'm goofy. Like the way that they even made Manfred look with his jewel eyes and stuff, where he looks, I'm like, this is for children. I understand where they're going with this in their direction. And I also understand why they scaled back Solus, why they don't call it Dreadwolf anymore, because they were scared to do a direct sequel. Even though it would, like, think about it in a business perspective. You make a direct sequel that knocks it out of the park, like Baldur's Gate 3, and then it gets people interested in the other ones.
Right.
So what happened with this? They were scared. Well, first of all, they had to fight to not make it live service, right?
They did.
Oh yeah, that's right. It used to be a lot. That's probably a lot of this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You would imagine that's probably has to do with a lot of. That's probably the main decision. That's probably the decision way back in the game's development that probably made it look that way in the first place.
Right.
And so that's already kind of like a disconnect.
Right.
The scale is obviously probably not going to be as big, because there's some more to worry about.
Yeah.
Yeah. They. I don't know, man.